like the sauce, like Just Thai hot sauce. Be on fire with this late night experience, chilling. I am gonna pop off a schedule. I am gonna pop off a schedule. They tried to, you see, they tried to do Donald Trump in. They was tripping. Did you see that, Rob? Dang, what? Did my headphones turn off or something? Can 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 hello? I'm talking about some hello. Can you hear me, Rob?
Yep, yep, yep.
Some hello. Okay, yeah. I don't know what happened. My headphones just turned off. I think this everything just kind of
We get
disconnected. Well, let me see. Okay, yeah. Oh no, but everything good. Yeah. So Rob, we can start whenever.
oh, okay. Um, so I was in my backyard several years ago, and I felt a little bit of pain in my bladder area, and I thought, oh, I don't know what the fuck that is, but I'll deal with it later. And that was a mistake. Um, 2 hours later, I'm in the emergency room, and I reach for the first time in my life what was I would consider a level 10 of pain. So if you hear in the hospital, what's your pain on a scale of 1 to 10? This was a level 10. So what it was a kidney stone, and it got caught at the top of my bladder. A lot of people don't realize, they think the worst part is when it's passing through the male anatomy, as a man, and yeah, that can be bad, but there's also it's a small orifice at the top of the bladder too that's hard to get through. So that's where mine got stuck, and the pain was so bad that my body didn't know what else to do, and I threw up.
Oh dang.
I wasn't I wasn't sick to my stomach. I wasn't nauseous. I didn't eat nothing bad. I mean, I was hurting so bad that I was shaking, and my body didn't know what else to do. It was trying to do anything to try to distract me, and that's what it made me do. Um, so one of the most common things you think when you hurt, so like one of the ways your body can handle pain at that level is, yeah, you can pass out. Another way, you can go into shock, which I had that happen when I was younger in a car wreck. I broke my leg, and I went into shock where I couldn't even feel nothing.
Dang.
So that's another way it can happen. Like imagine breaking your femur, like the femur bone in your body, it completely snaps in half, and you can't even feel it. You don't feel
Yeah.
anything.
That's wild. Cause you would think it would be painful.
You would think that would be the most, yeah, up there at that most pain you can imagine, and you just don't feel that. So that happened when I was a kid. So now I'm coming again, reaching this traumatic event, and I puked from the pain, and I was already in the ER. And about that time, some medicine started kicking in, which relieved me. It was a combination of painkillers and ibuprofen. Ibuprofen helped a lot, which this is a public service announcement. If you think you passing a kidney stone, ibuprofen is key, because I think when a stone gets caught somewhere, it irritates that tract and it's going to want to swell up, and it's like a snowball effect.
Yeah.
So it makes the problem even worse when it gets irritated and makes it hurt even worse. And I think that's why one reason why people go through excruciating pain is because wherever it's passing through, it tears up. As it tears up, it swells up and makes the problem even worse. So ibuprofen helps reduce some of that swelling and relieves you. So if you think at any point you're in an emergency situation or might be about to pass one, try taking one of those as you're going to the emergency room or whatever. It might save you a lot of pain. So it ended up being a kidney stone. I ended up passing it. Once it got through my bladder, surprisingly, it was like it was like level 5 and below after that. So this is graphic, but you would think go as that stone is going through your dick, that would be where it hurt the most. And that at that point, that's not where it hurt the most for me. Of course, every situation's different. Um, it was on my bladder when it did. So one reason why kidney stones hurt so bad is because they're not smooth like stones. Like we think of a pebble and we think, okay, a little rock. No, they got spikes on them. Like they look wicked. They look wicked. They got spikes on them with sharp points.
Like a little grain of
And that's
sticky salt or something.
yeah, but salt, but no, like a sea urchin, like
Oh, okay,
sharp
yeah.
points sticking out on them.
Dang.
And that's what tears you up. That's what causes so much pain for a lot of people. Now, after that, ended up passing two more, and I took a pill called Rawatinex. It's by German.
What's up with
These
it, y'all?
Germans make it, and it made it a lot easier to
15.
pass because the stones would help dissolve, or this pill would help dissolve the stones. And the next two stones I passed, they were like smooth.
Oh, that's up.
They didn't have the sharp spikes on them. So, so just know that there's stuff out there, and you can get it off Amazon. Just know there's stuff out there that might, if you think you got kidney stones or know somebody who has to deal with them on a regular basis, know that there's stuff out there that might help dissolve them and that might help people. Because the pain people go through passing these things is incredible. It's on another level.
It's
So
no. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I ain't even gonna
I'm gonna
say it.
fast. I'm gonna fast forward. I'm gonna fast forward a few years to recently. So, um, my stone had already developed to a large size by the time I found out about this medication.
Yeah.
So, what doctors say, and if you do your research, you can look this up. From 0 to 5 millimeters is a stone about the size that you can pass on your own. Maybe this is roughly. This isn't exact. This isn't for everybody, but this is just a rough guideline. So 0 to 5 millimeters.
It's one that you can basically
You
pass without feeling. You mean
No, one that you
without the
can pass.
pain?
You might you yeah, no, you're gonna have pain, but one that you can probably get through. Like a 3, 4, 5, you're gonna be hurting. Especially a 4 or 5, that might be one of those that you get at the level 10. And when I describe a level 10, what I describe as level 10 of pain is imagine actively getting a limb sawed off while you're awake. To
Oh
me,
yeah.
that's like level 10 pain. And that's to get some kind of ruler on the pain level here. So it's just saying it can make it through your system. So 0 to 5, you got a good chance on it being able to make it through all the way from your kidney through your bladder through your through the rest. And
Yeah. Yeah, he said kidney stones give me the chills. I don't know if I could ever have, if I ever had one, but sheesh.
well, this story is not for the
Tempted.
faint of heart. This story is not for the faint of heart, for the weakest stomach. I mean, it's bad because this is gonna get this is gonna get pretty bad.
Yeah.
So so I have a CAT scan done, and they say that your stone is 21 millimeters. Okay, 21 millimeters is huge. You can think in reference. You can think of a 9 millimeter bullet. You know, a 21 millimeters is pretty fat. You know, probably
Yeah.
like on a man. I'm guessing it's bigger than like the end of your thumb. Like, um, just guessing. And so there's no way this one's coming out. So from 5 to 20, they have a lithotripsy procedure, which get this, the lithotripsy is a procedure where you want to sit down for this.
I'm sitting down.
They
You should see.
they go through they go through your dick, okay? Break up the stone and pull it out. Pull the pieces out.
God
Okay?
damn.
While you're awake.
No. So they go straight through the pee hole to the, what
Hmm.
the hell is they sticking up there, like a tube or something? Is a little
I don't know the
microbot?
exact procedure. I don't know if it I don't know. They use laser, I'm guessing, or some weird ultrasound. I don't know the exact procedure. You can Google it, but I know somebody who explained the procedure to me, and that how he explained it to me was exactly how I explained it just now.
Yeah.
Was that they
Oh,
went up through the front to break it up, and I said, "You were awake for that?" Yeah, and
oh
the look in that man's eyes describing it let me know that he was not bullshitting.
no. Yeah. Golly.
And and so I didn't want that. So when I was
Fucking
told,
straight.
okay, now that yours is 20 millimeters and up, we got to go straight through the kidney, okay, and get it out from there. One reason why they don't want to go straight through the kidney is because when they go straight into the kidney like that,
Rock off the
they take a chance on the kidney bleeding out. If the kidney bleeds out, then they got to take the kidney out and you lose the kidney.
brain. Oh damn.
So that's one reason why they don't like on the 5 to 20 millimeters that they don't just go in the kidney and take it out that way
Oh my
because
god.
it's risky. It's risky. You might lose it. So they want to minimize risk. They have more success with the other way. So, but mine was too big for the other way. So I'm thinking, okay, you get to go straight in the kidney. That sounds better than the other one. Let's do that.
20 millimeters, that's oversized, man.
Hmm. So let me Google real quick
He
what 20
said,
millimeters is in inches. So
that's why he said them fools put me to sleep if they gotta take that out of me. Hey, they gotta put it through my urinal area
yeah,
hole.
I'm
Like, no.
for those that are tripping. This is not for somebody who's tripping listening to this live. Just for warning, I know it's a little late for that. But 20 millimeters is 0.787 inches. So over 3/4 of an inch.
Oh my god.
So mine in the longest part of it was 21 millimeters. So that's 0.827 inches. So 0.83 inches.
Yeah.
So they cut an incision. And this incision, I got it right now. I mean, it's like a half inch. It ain't, I mean, it's like, well, about the size of the kidney stone, like that 0.8 inches. It's just about that big. The incision don't look like nothing. what
Did
I
they
got. You would have no idea what I went through
did they do it
based
with a
on that.
laser?
Yeah, I believe they
Okay.
broke it up with the laser. So I thought they went in there and took it out, like with the, you know, the claw arcade machines.
Yeah.
So I figured they came in there with some kind of claw or something and took it out. No, they go in there and they break it up and they take it out. So I thought they just took the whole stone out by itself. No, they go in there and break it up. So um what they didn't tell me, so I go in Monday. So this is in a hospital in Texas. I go in there Monday, and as I'm going under, and I was thinking, well, this won't be no big deal. I got a sister, she's a nurse, and she's like, you want, and she's like, what day are you having your procedure? Monday. She's like, well, okay, I can come up. I said, no, don't worry about it. Just pick me up after it's over. It won't be no thing. Um, I I just felt like it was a journey I need to go through by myself for some reason, like just mental journey. And she's got kids, she's got a full-time job, so I don't really want to bother nobody. I want to make things as smooth as possible for everybody else. And that turned out to be a mistake
Oh, I'm looking at the
because
X-ray. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
because as this is one thing with hospitals, nursing homes, whatever, it's human nature. If you're having surgery or you're a patient in a hospital or you're a patient in a nursing home and you're by yourself, the truth is, and this is my opinion, that you're probably not going to get as much care as if you would if people were there with you that were showing that, we're paying attention to what's going on. You know, if people are there showing that, okay, we care about this person, it's more, I think it's more likely that other people are going to care for you too. Now, I'm not saying that's scientific fact. That's just me just talking, just guessing. And so I'm by myself. So as I'm going under anesthesia, which is basically I'm starting to pass out, they tell me, well, first we're going to stick a scope up there.
What the?
Okay. So a scope like a camera, a scope not through your kidney. So I thought a scope was going through my kidney. No, the scope is going up my dick hole.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Not just in there, all the way up to my bladder. Okay. So whatever this thing is has to be big enough to have a camera on it. All right. And then we're going to take that out. Okay. And then we're going to stick a catheter in behind that. Okay.
God damn.
So as I'm hearing this, I'm thinking, oh, my shit's about to be fucked up. Like, this is not good. Like, oh, I'm gonna be feeling this when I come out. And then they tell me, well, for the surgery though, for this procedure, after that, we're gonna have to flip you over to actually do the procedure. And so I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna have a tube going through my dick. You're gonna stick a camera in me, yank it out, then shove another tube up through there. And while a tube's attached to me, you're gonna flip me over. Like, there's all kinds of shit that can go wrong in my mind. You know, if you're gonna stick a tube on me, I would like to be standing still. You
Like,
know,
first of all, why is y'all putting me in all these sexual positions to do this?
God, y'all worse than the damn aliens.
Man. Golly.
And so, but they're telling you this as you're passing out, which to me is kind of strategic. Like you can't like say like wait, time out, nothing. No, you're already going under anesthesia. You're already passing out.
Yeah,
And
Dwayne said it's called urethral. You what? A ureteroscope is
yeah,
what the camera is
ureteroscope.
called.
Yeah,
I
ureteroscope,
worked in
something like that.
healthcare.
Yeah.
Those things are longer than you think. What the?
Yes, thank you, Dwayne. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying. Yeah, so hey, look, everybody's dick hole is different, but mine really doesn't like those things. Okay? Mine really doesn't like those things. Okay? Because the only other time I had a level 10 on the pain scale, I had to have a scope done 3 years ago because of that similar stone incident. They were like, well, we need to make sure you don't have bladder cancer. And
Oh
so
wow.
I had that. I was like, damn, cancer. And you're thinking, oh shit. Yeah, I need to make sure I don't have cancer. And they did that scope. And I'm just gonna make that story short. That was no fun. That was that was hellish pain for me. And they were telling me it was no big deal. Oh, we got this numbing gel that we use, so it's not any big deal. Like it won't be that. Man, they are a lie. That was a big deal for me.
Oh
Um,
hell no! I'm looking at a
I didn't
picture
like.
of it. Hold on, let me show them on YouTube. Golly, no, no,
Mm,
no. How about no?
mm, no, yes, thank you.
Oh golly.
Yeah. And imagine this, True. Imagine taking a piss after that has gone up and out you.
It gets worse.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my goodness,
So,
man.
okay. Okay, but I thought at least for this, okay, I thought at least the scope is going in and out while I'm passed out. Okay.
Yeah,
So maybe I got a chance. But then they're sticking a catheter in me, then I'm flipped over. And so next thing I know, I wake back up like it felt like it was 30 seconds, but it was really like, I don't know, 2 3 hours.
oh damn.
And I come out of it and immediately I feel pain at the end of my dick, like this stinging, burning. And I was like, oh shit, something is wrong, something is wrong, something is bad wrong. And I feel my kidney. So I feel my dick at a level 10 pain, my kidney at a level 10 pain, and they're telling me like, I start like trying to rub my eye, and they're like, don't rub your eyes too much, don't rub your eyes too much. My vision's blurry, and I'm just like, I can't even speak, I can't think, I can't speak. And I'm still under some effects of anesthesia coming out of this, and they're pushing me down the hallway. And man, you're in that hospital bed, and man, every single bump, think about it, like when you go from one room to another, there's a doorway. That doorway has a little bump at the bottom, right? And I'm
Yeah,
feeling every little bump, every little imperfection, every little break, turn. I can't, my body, I'm trying not to move my body at all to try to minimize any, because any position I move is going to hurt like hell, both for my kidney and the other end, because my kidney now has a tube coming out of it too, because it's draining too. So where they went into my kidney, I got a tube draining fluid out of it.
damn.
So I got a tube out the front and out the side. Okay. And we get
Golly.
on the elevator. I feel the bump getting onto the elevator, like boom, 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 boom. And it's like bam, bam, bam. But I can't even say that because it's fucking hurting so bad. And I'm like, just, oh my God, what in the hell have I gotten into? And and so they roll me into the room and they hook up my IV. And I remember them saying, okay, we're going to hook up the morphine. And I remember thinking, thank God,
For morphine.
like, give me something. Yeah, thank God for morphine. But before that, like, imagine just coming out of this and then be like, okay, we got to move you into another bed. And I'm like,
Oh.
you gotta have to help us here. I'm like, what the fuck? I gotta do shit now? Like, I'm just trying to not die. And y'all asking me to like do maneuvers and shit. Like, like, I'm like, fuck, okay, so you put yourself in a mentally strong enough spot where like, okay, I'm gonna support myself, I'm gonna lift myself up a little bit to where they can lift this blanket and move me over into this other bed. And man, because anytime I moved with that tube in my kidney or catheter, it was hurting
Oh.
me. And so that was another level. 10, 10, 10 on
Yeah.
the front, 10 on the kidney, moving into the bed. And like I lay back and then that was where they said they were gonna hook me up with morphine, and that was the first sign of hope. That I was like, okay, at least I'm gonna get something for this, maybe. And then she hooked up the morphine and said, okay, press this green button. I'm like, I pressed that motherfucker before it was even ready. And I'm like, tell you as soon as it's ready, I'll say you just press as soon as it's ready, just press it, please. And and the nurse walked out the room
I take a lot of soda.
and
Glass.
I remembered like so I couldn't even breathe right. So whenever I took a breath, like a normal breath, like you take a normal breath, you don't realize it until you go through something like this. Like when you take a breath, when your lungs expand, you're putting pressure on other
Oh
organs.
yeah, I read them, Mary.
And so when I would take a breath, it would put pressure on my kidney. And I couldn't even I couldn't even take a like I couldn't take a deep breath. So at this point, I just wanted to scream, okay? Just to let out something for the pain, okay?
Yeah.
So, like, imagine if you're like at a pain of a level 10, if you scream, maybe you can bring it down to a 9.5, you know, just from distracting yourself from screaming or something. You're exerting something. But I couldn't even do that because I couldn't take a because in order to scream, you have to take a breath deep enough to scream. So I couldn't even take a breath deep enough to make a sound.
Dang. Dang.
Like imagine
Somebody.
that.
Somebody. I think that's Green Bud said. Does he drink a lot of soda or intake a lot of sodium? And Dwayne said, sounds like they waited hella long to give him pain meds. I'm guessing they had to wait for that anesthesia to wear off.
Yeah. Oh, it gets better, guys. Yeah, it gets better. So no, I used to drink a lot of energy drinks, and when I first found out, when I first went through the first kidney stone, I stopped drinking energy drinks, but that didn't stop it from growing.
Dang.
I, I was drinking protein shakes, and after that, and I thought that was it. I cut those off, and my kidney stone kept growing. Um, I can't remember what else I was taking that I thought might do it. Creatine, and I stopped creatine, and that didn't stop it from growing. Um, Dairy products, uh, I mean, I tried cutting out so much stuff to where I was like, I felt like I was running out of options on stuff to cut out of my diet.
Yeah,
And it was still growing because I had several CAT scans done over the course of about 10 years. And it was still growing. And I found out about that pill that helps dissolve them real late in the game. That Rowatinix pill. I was already at year like 8, 9 when I found out about that. And it helped, but it was still too late in the game. And so the morphine helped a lot. So it was the tens were just moments. I would have pain of like 9, but the morphine
golly.
brought it down to like the morphine when the morphine kicked in, it would bring it down to like a 7. And I don't think the morphine actually takes away, it doesn't cure the problem. It doesn't take away the actual pain. I think what the morphine does is it kind of distracts you from the pain to where you just don't care about it as much. Um, that is I mean, for these procedures, that I mean, it did. I got to give my props to it. Um,
Shout out to Morphine
and
if you out
shout
there.
out to morphine.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so I'm going through this all night, on and off of peaks and valleys. And I do remember at like 4:30 in the morning, a nurse says, "Do you want some to eat? Like we got this, we got this, we got this, we got applesauce." And I said, "Yes, applesauce. Let me try that." Because I fasted for 2 days ahead of the surgery, which really wasn't necessary, but I did it just to want to be sure that they were going to have as clean a procedure as possible. And man, I was in one of those times like where all the drugs hit just right and the pain level was down to like a 6,
Yeah.
and that cup of applesauce came and I ate, and I got my spoon and I started eating it, and man, I was in heaven for that moment. Like it was really crazy to like just with a cup of applesauce by myself at 4 in the morning being in heaven. Like even though I was hurting. Like because I was so hungry at that point, dehydrated, whatever. Um, I don't know that applesauce hit harder than the morphine did, like way harder.
Yeah.
It was just it was just so good. And like and people who've been really hungry, I think they can relate to what I'm talking about. If you've really been to a point of starvation or a real point of dehydration or thirst, and you finally get that piece of food or you finally get that drink, it's like heavenly when you finally get it again. Because it's just that replenishment of water or that replenishment of nutrients or whatever it is, man. Your body gets a high from it and
Yeah.
like knocks everything down even more. Um, so um, go through more of the cycles at 5:30 in the morning. They say it's been 12 hours. They're going to take me off morphine. A nurse walks in and says, "Okay, we're going to take you off morphine." I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa!" Like, time. Just hold on a damn minute. Y'all finna take me off morphine right now? And said, "Yeah, don't worry about it. We're gonna put you on some other pain medication." And what I didn't realize what was going on is that's what they do when they're preparing you for discharge. They're preparing to get that. I was told I was gonna be in there 2 days, but they were actually preparing me to get me out there the next night. And it's hospitals, it's a business. They're
Yeah.
trying to move people in and out as fast as possible. And that's just how it is. And I didn't have the clarity in mind to realize what was going on at the time. But my sister working in nursing, that's basically what she told me they were trying to do. And she said, yeah, they probably got patients in the ER waiting right now. And so they're trying to get everybody out they can. So they're probably preparing you for discharge as early as possible. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, some other pain meds, that's not going to be good for me, but okay, we'll take it. So 6:30 rolls around, 7:30 rolls around, and I'm like, uh, hey, were y'all going to get me some pain medication? This is getting pretty bad over here. Um, and I told him about the catheter. I said, this catheter is tearing me up. By the way, I want to say this catheter they put on me, it looked like it belonged on a damn air compressor. It didn't look like it belonged going up my dick. Like this is something you use for like to air up a fucking tractor tire or something. This shit. And Um, she said, "Well, we're having a little problem right now. I'll come back." I'm like, "Damn, I gotta wait some more? Like y'all disconnected the morphine without like having other shit ready?" And it's been 3 hours now. And so like at 8:30, they tell me, um, well, the phone line's down. So when you go in the hospital, they put a wristband on you. It's got a barcode on it. Okay. And um, that barcode scans you in. So anytime they give you medication, they got to document it and it goes into that system. Okay. Well, their phone line system went down. So when they scan me, wouldn't shit pop up? If they can't scan me, they can't open up the medicine locker to give me nothing. Okay.
Oh shit.
So now I'm going there. They said, I'm sorry, we can't give you medication because the phone line's down. We lost communication. I was like, oh fuck, okay. I guess maybe this will be a 30-minute, hour longer ordeal. I have to deal with this. Um, I hope. And so this is this is the trippy part. So like I want to say by 7:30, all medicine wears off. I'm having to handle really probably by 7, maybe 6:30. Um, I'm having to handle this pain raw now, just as is. I'm having to take it like a man. No medicine. All right. Not even Tylenol, numbing gel, nothing. Post
Gotta
surgery,
take it
morning
like a
after
man.
surgery. Okay. Well, now we're starting to climb back into the intermittent 9, 10 on the pain scale. Okay. Where I was maintaining with the morphine, I was maintaining like a 6 to a 8. And
That's
now I'm
still
getting back up
high.
there. It's still high, but now I'm getting back up there. And that catheter's killing me, man. And and I could feel like pressure on my bladder too. Like if the bag filled up just a little bit. Oh, speaking of, when they emptied that bag the first time, it looked like straight blood. It didn't look like
Oh
urine.
dang.
Yeah. I mean, it was dark red, like cranberry juice red.
Dang.
And both of them coming out my kidney and um out the uh out the catheter bag drain. And so when they tell me that the phone lines are down and they can't give me nothing, so I pass out at like 9 o'clock and I wake up and man, I'm going in and out and I started going to psychedelic places. Keep in mind, I'm on no substances, zero substances. So this is where I was telling you earlier about the body can handle pain differently. Like the body has different ways of handling pain. If it don't have nothing else, it'll do something. It'll make you just throw up. It'll make you go into shock. It'll make you pass out. It can make you hallucinate. It can make you go to psychedelic realms. Like this goes back to the power of the mind back in your trip. The mind at that point says, okay, I got to do something to manage this because this is too much. This is overload right now. So I started going to psychedelic places like around 9 a.m. and I was going to those places. I went to some in my sleep, which I can't remember those. I know I saw some geometry and stuff like that, but I really can't
Nice,
remember them.
man.
The ones I can remember, I was fully awake. So I was fully conscious, fully awake, knowing I was awake, just talked to the nurse, and I was going to those psychedelic places. And I remember the first one I saw, um, it wasn't geometry. It looked like a big kind of desert with sandstorms and where these sand clouds were like billowing, but they were billowing like real slow in a very peaceful, calm way. And I could see the sun in the background, like the sun was trying to shine through the sand, but
Yeah.
the sand was so thick you could stare right at the sun and it not hurt your eyes because the sand
Oh,
was
okay,
so thick.
yeah.
But 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 on my right, you know what I saw was it looked like it was 500 foot tall. It looked like a monument of Anubis,
Dang.
and he
Like,
he was facing toward the left, standing,
yeah, I had
and
missed a couple of comments. My bad, Rob, because back when
oh,
you
let's
was
take
talking about the morphine, UL said the morphine doesn't work on everyone the same. And he said I think he was talking about when you said you had the applesauce, and he was saying, yeah, after the pain, simple enjoyment. Just that applesauce, how it just was like heaven.
yep, 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 yep.
But I keep up with
It
the comments
was.
now. I keep up with them. Blake keep coming in here.
Yeah, we good. It was like heaven. I will never forget that moment. I will never forget that simple cup of applesauce, man.
Yeah.
I'll
Now,
I'll forget the I might could forget the morphine. I'd easily forget the morphine before I forget that applesauce. That applesauce was heaven.
yeah, because
And
before he said that, when you said you was on the morphine, you said the pain was like a 6 or 8, and I'm like, wait, that's still high. The
it's
like
still very high.
you said it like that was 2 points off. That wasn't even halfway down.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't get
That's
halfway
still
down for a
pain.
while. Yeah, yeah, but when you're up there to 9, 10, 6 and 8 is a good it definitely is a big help.
Yeah,
Um so I'm like I'm fully aware. Like my mind is clear. My mind is clear, clear, and I'm seeing this vision. And but I couldn't see any details of Anubis. I could only make out his outline. It
yeah,
was just enough especially with the sun in the background. He kind of popped better because his outline really popped with the sun in the background. But I couldn't see. He looked like dark. He looked almost like a shadow.
yeah.
Um, but his outline was clear, and um, and then just a few seconds later, in a very similar visual, I go to a storm clouds. And so all of a sudden, I go from day right there to night. And keep in mind, this is at, I don't know, 9:30 in the morning. I
Dang.
I I go from day to night and I got storm clouds and I'm like in the clouds. So the Anubis statue, I really felt like it was a huge monument, like it was 500 foot tall, and I was looking at him like I was floating at like chest level, like I was like at 400 foot, let's say.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And and then I transition into this whole nother realm where now I'm in the clouds at night in a storm. And because I remember hearing the rain and I remember hearing the wind and I remember the clouds were billowing similar to the ways the sand was billowing in the previous plane I was in. And I remember seeing the lightning. Man, that lightning was beautiful. And I
Was
remember seeing the lightning in the background everywhere, and some of it like really close to me, like maybe in the same, like as close as the same cloud I was in. And
okay. Was and this was like, was this like after they gave you the second medication?
no, this was on zero medication.
Okay.
This was when the medication ran out. This was when they cut me off the morphine at 5:30. This is like at 9:30 when
Okay.
they told me
Yeah.
when they lost the phone lines that morning, and so they couldn't prescribe me anything else. Like I had nothing, not even numbing gel for the catheter, nothing. This is where my mind took me. This is my theory that my mind took me here as a place of dealing with the pain.
Yeah.
Like it took me to these psychedelic realms. But I was fully awake. Like this isn't dream. Like I could talk to somebody if I wanted to and communicate with them fully, clearly, if somebody came in and wanted to talk to me. I just remembered I didn't want to leave there. I do remember that Anubis sandstorm place I was in, I didn't want to leave there. That storm cloud place I was in, I didn't want to leave there because I can't describe. Because somebody told me, like I was telling somebody about earlier, like, man, that sounds scary. I was like, no, I can't describe to you how peaceful it was. It was so peaceful. And like you would think, rain, because the rain was steady, the clouds were moving steady, billowing steady. The wind, yeah, it would gust a little bit here and there, but it was somehow it was just so peaceful. And I remember the clouds just they had this one little spot, this one little opening. So it was like overcast, clouds all around me, below me, over me, but there's one little spot in the sky where you could look into a clearing in the sky like the size of the moon, and I could see a little part of the moon behind it. Like the moon wasn't perfectly centered in that hole in that clearing, but I could see part of it, and I felt like that's where I was going. And I'm calling it the moon. It may have not been the moon, but that's what I'm just going to call it because that's what I think it was. That's what makes the most sense, visualizing it. And I felt like I was go slowly floating toward that clearing in the sky. And later on, I thought, man, I wonder if that's some of the stuff like people see and people start to go to when they die.
Yeah. When they about to pass on.
Yeah, yeah, because
The
like
in between.
the in between, like they're starting to travel, they're starting to go on to these new dimensions, these new phases, or however but whatever you believe, if you believe it's your mind sending you to these places, whatever you believe. I'm just saying, I think it may be similar to some of the things that people experience when they start to pass on.
Yeah, you Vel said,
And
if you had time, watch Moon Knight.
okay, I'll have to send myself a text on that.
Yeah, Moon Knight. But I didn't mean to cut you off.
So
Go ahead.
I
Go
don't
ahead.
I don't get medication until like 11:30 that morning when they said, "Okay, we're going to do it the old school way. We're going to handwrite it prescriptions." I was like, "Wait a minute. Y'all had a way of doing this?" I'm like, "Man, oh, and let me go back before that." So like I come out of the psychedelic stuff and like at 10:30, 11, I'm hurting so bad because now we're talking about 5 hours without pain medication after being scoped, after large catheter, after my kidney cut open, and and I'm like, I was gonna call the nurse to tell her she's got to do something. I don't care what, she's got to do something. If it shoot me, like, cause I did get to a point where I thought I could see killing myself right now.
Dang. Yeah, that
Like
was.
that when you're in that much pain, like suicide did cross my mind as a plausible um path.
Yeah.
And and uh and so I hit the call nurse button, and guess what? That bitch didn't work
Oh
because the phone
no.
lines were down.
Yeah, yeah. The phone lines was down.
And I can't even take a breath deep enough to scream and tell somebody nothing.
So you had to lay there and
So
deal with the pain.
at that point, true, I thought, man, I really fucked up not having my sister here. Like I really fucked up. Like, and so for us as men, we feel like we can handle shit sometimes and want to be not necessarily macho, but like we don't want to bother people with our problems. Man, when you're about to go through something like that, have somebody with you, because you just never know. Because it never crossed my mind that, okay, well, if I go in surgery and the communications don't work, you don't ever think of shit like that. What if the call nurse button thing don't work? You don't think of shit like that.
Yeah, that don't
I
even.
never thought of that, but that's a scenario I ran across, and and yeah, it was about, man, that was the lowest. I'd say that was the lowest point. That was the lowest point of the whole thing, even with the pain and everything. Is like when you finally hit a call for help and realize that you're not getting it. That's a low point. And so in this life, we go through peaks, we go through valleys, we go through good times, we go through bad times. Some of the bad times last a long time. Some of the good times last a long time. Some of them last a short time. And this was one of my bad times that lasted a short time. And it was definitely a low, but it was on. We have lows a different way. You could have a low where somebody close to you passed away. You could have a low where you lost somebody. You could have a low where you have to deal with an illness. This was a low that was very temporary, that was based on pain. Um, but man, when I hit that when I hit that call button and realized nobody was going to get the message, that was that added like an emotional aspect to it that was no longer just physical. That was like a hopelessness feeling behind it. And so at 11:30 they finally come in to give me something, and that stuff wasn't, whatever they gave me, it wasn't as good as morphine. I still had to fight through stuff. Um, I'm gonna fast forward here because it's getting a little long-winded. Um,
All right, we still here.
they they get so now imagine this. I'm all tore up down there. I just knew something is wrong. Something went wrong. Like my dick hole is tore up. Like I say dick hole, it's not just the hole at the end. It's like my system all the way up to my bladder is tore up. Like something's wrong. Something where I don't know if when y'all flipped me over, I got hung up. I don't know if it's just, maybe it's just when that scope went up me and went out and then you went in with a catheter, that was enough to tear me up. I don't know. I just know I got tore up somehow. And and so the I do not look forward to whenever they're gonna have to yank this thing out of me. Okay?
I don't either, and I wasn't there.
That's the that's the next step. Because they're talking about, oh yeah, we're gonna try to get you out tonight. I'm like, tonight? Yeah, yeah, we're gonna take the catheter out. I'm like, oh my God, I don't even want to think about that. And but yeah, it's got to come out because it's killing. Like that's something I'm gonna have to mentally power through. So and like a lot of people, I understand it. They don't want to fill your head with negative thoughts. So one of the few nurses who I really trusted, like this nurse acted like he knew his shit. Like you could tell he knew his shit. He had an answer for everything. Sounded very well experienced, educated, all that. He said, "Oh, don't worry about it. I've pulled 1,000 of these out. I've never had anybody said it hurt. It would be uncomfortable, might feel funny, but I've never had anybody said it hurt." I'm like, "Well, motherfucker, I'm gonna be the first one then, because I'm telling you, this is gonna hurt coming out." And it sure enough did. And now, by that point, I did reach a point where I could get enough breath to scream. And I did scream when it came out. And then one of the female nurses says, "Oh, yeah, I hate putting catheters on guys. Because, like, yeah, I got a lot of them that scream when it comes out." Yeah, I'm like, man, they'll straight up lie to you to try to put positivity in your head, knowing that something's going to be a bitch, which I understand, but I don't know. I feel like I just want the truth. Um anyway, so they tell me, "Well, we can't discharge you." So I go through that. They tell me, "Oh, also they pull out the tube in my kidney," which that stent in my kidney, that was longer than I thought. So imagine this weird feeling of a tube going into your kidney and them pulling it out. Imagine what that feels like. I mean, that that was that was very different. Um, but anyway, they tell me that I'm gonna have to urinate before I leave. Okay, so can y'all still hear me?
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear. I
Okay.
just was dealing with the.
Oh, you good? You good? Um, so I go to urinate. I'm like, now my sister's here by this time, so I'm like, she drove 2 hours to the hospital to take me home, and so I go to urinate and I can't. And they're like, "Well, we can't discharge you until you do." And so I go again, and man, I'm in the bathroom for a total of 40 minutes, and I got like 6 drops of straight blood out. Okay. 40 minutes for 6 drops of straight blood. And they come back in And they're like, "Well, you finished?" I'm like, "Man, this is all I got." And I show them the blood at the bottom of the container. And they're like, well, that's not going to work. So they did an ultrasound on me. They said, well, you still got urine in your bladder. So that's going to have to be relieved before we can discharge you. So we're going to have to go in with another catheter. And at that
Look, give
point,
me the medication now. Give me the medication right now. You
at
just
that
not.
point, I was like, no, no, you don't. No, you don't have to go in with another. Now y'all are like, y'all don't even belong in this century. Y'all belong with those medieval torture people. Like this is not right. You are not gonna go back it because what you're gonna do is you're gonna tear like I'm telling you something's wrong with me. And you're gonna tear me up even worse. And then I'm gonna have to deal with it at home instead of dealing with it here. And so you're just whatever y'all are thinking is just gonna make it worse. And so my sister talked them into not doing it, but that was like a 30-minute debate because they were dead set on putting one back in me. And so I went home. Now the next day, I didn't know whether I was gonna be able to or not. They said if you're not able to urinate, what's gonna happen is you're gonna go back to the emergency room, and that's gonna cost you another $2,000, $3,000.
Oh no.
And I said, I am willing to take that chance. I'm willing to take that chance. Over than having another tube stuck in me, I'm willing to take that chance. I said, I might pay $3,000 for y'all to go away right now. Because I
Yeah,
cannot take anymore.
that's too much, man. That's too
The,
much.
yeah, like another two after all this, y'all want to put another one in? No. And so I go home and I can only get little drops out that night. I wake up the next morning and I'm able to get little spurts out. They sting like a motherfucker. Sting like like bad, bad, bad sting. Like razor blade sting.
Yeah.
And uh which I'm sorry, but I need to describe to y'all. Razor blades in your dick hole sting, okay? And at one
Sound
point in
like
the
a what's the
afternoon,
name? Like somebody. Well,
I,
I ain't never had one, but it sound like gonorrhea or
I
something. I
know
don't know.
this was beyond that. That gonorrhea or whatever, that's for amateurs. This shit is fucking god level. Like, and, and man, that afternoon part of it, true. I had like little chunks coming out from tissue that was tore up inside of me.
Uh,
Okay.
when you use the restroom.
Yes.
Oh
Just
no,
pissing.
man.
Just pissing. And then at that point, I was like, oh, okay, I'm not crazy. I was really tore up on the inside. Like I'm not tripping. I'm not, because man, they'll make you think that no, everybody goes through this. This is normal. Whatever. Like I'm like, okay, no, I really was tore up on the inside. Like
Yeah, because you
that
was
was one
peeing
of
out.
which,
Basically, you think that was like all the scar tissue or something?
yeah, I don't, I think some of it was because most of the tissue from the kidney should have drained out with the kidney
Yeah.
from that tube because I had a tube coming out there. This tissue, I think I had some tissue from my tracts, from my actual tract that was tore up.
Dang.
And that was some like I there were very few pictures of this that I took because I didn't want I didn't need any memories. It's already burned into me. But I did take a picture of some of the tissue that came out, and it would make you nauseous to see.
Oh yeah, golly.
Like like but Thursday morning, Thursday morning, it looked like it was dark red. It looked like blood coming out, okay? But I got a full stream on Thursday morning, and I was like, "Hallelujah.
Yeah.
God is great."
It wasn't painful though.
It was like a 2,
Okay, yeah.
and just resting, man, it was like
We should
just
go
sitting
through
down on the
that.
couch. It was like a point five. I could just I could just barely tell something happened to me if I was just sitting down and not moving. Now, when I moved, yeah, my pain would go up. But just chilling, no, it was like a point five at that point. And then today, man, this is what's crazy. I went to the gym, went on the treadmill today,
Oh
and
damn.
I'm back on the I'm back, talking here on the live. Um, I can eat regular, drink regular. Um, the piss isn't fully clear yet, but it's definitely way more. And man, I have such an appreciation for life. Um, it was like in a way that it reminds me of going through when you go through a real hard psychedelic trip that's really, really tough. Like
Yeah.
on a previous live, I talked about the tree one that felt like that was that one really tried to get me. But the next morning was the benefit of it. My darkest trip ended up being my most beneficial one because I felt better the next day. I felt reborn the next day than I had in my whole life. And
Wow.
that's pretty much the way I feel now. Is like I feel like reborn after going through a valley that dark
Is
and going through pain at that extent.
that how you supposed to feel
And
when you get baptized?
I
Like
don't
reborn?
know. I think some people just get wet.
Yeah. Be like I ain't taking a shower for 2 days until after my baptism. But no, that's wild, Rob. Then how much time did you have to take off of work? Oh, damn. Here we go. Hold on, y'all. My headphones is tripping. I don't know why they do that. Man, I see your thing lit up, but I don't hear nothing. Oh, what happened? Can you hear me, Rob?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Oh,
can.
okay. There we go. There we
Uh,
go. I don't know
are we
what was
still on the
going on.
live?
Yeah, we still on.
Okay. Were there any more? There weren't any more questions on the live, huh?
Nah, he said, yeah, it was a few things said. It said no human should go through that. Somebody said facts. They say sounds like a horror movie for real. Now every time I
Hmm.
pee, I'm gonna think I'm about to about I'm gonna be thinking about this horror story right here. Every time I go use the restroom, I'm gonna be like, oh, if you feel any kind of burning sensation, pain or something, you're gonna be like, oh, it's a kidney stone.
No, you just gotta think about that girl you was with last weekend.
I was thinking about that
No.
too, huh? You going through that and your girl just be like, I know you feeling bad. I'm gonna give you some special attention. You be like, hell no. No, I'm cool.
Yeah.
Oh, this be the first time you be like, hell no. No. Give me 2 months.
Yeah. yeah, that's what was crazy about this whole thing to me was like how like Monday, Tuesday, even Wednesday, it felt like I went through hell,
Yeah,
but like outside of the applesauce moment. But like today, how I'm like on the complete opposite side of it. Like I am alive today. Like I'm grateful for everything. I'm grateful for life as is, even basic run of the mill everyday life.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, as far as kidney stones specifically, um, as a PSA, uh, if you feel like you're having one or think you're about to have one, we're really concerned to the point where where it's like hurting bad. Take an ibuprofen and go to the emergency room, and that will subside some of the pain.
Yeah, so
Um, Also, uh, I have to give a shout out to that German pill Rowatinex, Rowatinex. Um, Man, that I think whoever invented that, I think they're really trying to do a good thing. And also, they make one for gallstones too. Um, to because a lot of people have trouble with gallbladders and gallstones, which I haven't had that, but they make one for that too. Um, which I think both of us know people who've probably gone through gallbladder problems.
not that I can recall, but I remember somebody having a kidney stone, but they didn't tell me it was that damn bad.
No,
They didn't
no,
give me
it's
that story.
no. This was the full blown. This was the Whopper. And yeah, but I'm also thankful that I didn't lose a kidney through the ordeal. Um, but yeah, because it could have gone that. Like they could have gone to the kidney, and in the procedure, the kidney get cut, and it start bleeding so bad where they have to remove the kidney. So
Just
even though
think if you was one of them
chances
people.
are
Think if you was one of them people like F them doctors. They trying to get over on me.
there's been a lot of that.
You wouldn't have been able to withstand that pain though, huh? It'd be like, shh, do what
Nope.
y'all gotta do. Do it, please, just do
No. Yeah.
it. Where I signed that.
Yeah. Yeah. But that is man, just going back and finding some of the fascinating parts of it. Number one, it was how fascinating how like that cup of applesauce could bring me to heaven.
Yeah,
Number two, I found it extremely fascinating how the mind and body will find ways of dealing with pain. Like, it's not just one way every time. I thought if you went to pain to level 10 and had to sustain it, that you would just pass out every time.
yeah.
No,
Somebody
that's
said,
not,
do you got an idea of what caused it? Do they know or
um, no, you need long-term diet studies, in my opinion, to know what causes them. Like, you need to take multiple urine samples throughout the day, in my opinion, throughout the week of everything in your diet and send all those samples off to have like uric acid and other levels tested on a regular basis for whenever you eat something to see if your acid levels rise or whatever levels rise or go low during different parts of your day and what exact diet you take. Um, I just know I've tried to cut everything out that I can think of that could cause them. Um, one of the things is it is possible. I think you can get it through water, like
Oh yeah,
like certain water has more minerals in it than others, and so I tried to get water with like less calcium, less other stuff. If you get bottled water, I I try to look up the brand of water that I get. Um, and just in general, I try to stay away from processed foods more because I live on the road half the time, and I know processed foods are bad for you in general anyway. So it would not surprise me if they were part of the cause. Um, so I try to be better about preparing my own meals when I can.
yeah.
And
It's cheaper to
but
do that anyway. But
yep,
the
yep,
if you ain't getting the meat a certain way, it's processed. You know, like period. It's like
that's true. That's true.
it ain't
But
too.
yeah, I'm trying to stay away um from salt a little more. Salt was one thing I was probably a big fan of that I shouldn't have been. And especially if stuff is like canned or frozen or stuff, it's going to have a lot of salt in it. I don't know that that necessarily will contribute to it. I just know too much of it ain't good for you. So,
Yeah, it's kind of wild
um,
because once you get off the salt, you start seeing how much salt people be putting in food, in their food. Like when you go eat at different people's house or you eat at different places, you be like, it be seeming like it's salty. Like
yeah,
everybody use
yes,
all the
yeah.
seasonings. Like what you do, use the whole bottle of seasoning salt in here. Like
Yeah,
golly,
yeah, yeah. And we got sugar and corn syrup and everything. I've tried to stay away from that too.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I found it super fascinating. That was the first time that I can remember going to a psychedelic place without any psychedelics. Um, outside of like dreams. Yeah, dreams, of course. I've been to psychedelic places in dreams, but that was the first time where I was fully awake going to psychedelic places without without any psychedelic substances. So that was very interesting to me, and how at peace I was in those places was also very interesting.
so it seems like everything has high amounts of sodium.
Hmm.
I know you don't want to go through that again, though, huh?
Oh, I don't. I do not. I remember thinking, I was like, man, if I start to go through, I just somebody shoot me before I go through this
He
again.
said that, especially that catheter.
Man, that thing. I got catheter phobia now. I see it. I see a fucking hose at the gas station to air up your tires. I fucking get scared now.
I bet.
I got yeah. That's what I told my sister at the end. I told her, I said, look, I got catheter phobia now. Don't let them motherfuckers get around me with no fucking hose.
ah, you get home, you be like, "Who? What this water hose still doing here? I thought I told y'all get rid of all the hoses."
I be I be looking at straws funny. I be catching them on fire.
Like man,
But yeah, it was they going back. I should have asked for some special things like, hey, use the smallest diameter catheter that you can. They could have gone with a smaller one. I'm I'm no medical expert, but I feel kind of confident in that looking at the size of the one they gave me. But
yeah,
what they probably do, they probably go with the largest one. That way, any stones that are broken up can pass out easier, can pass
yeah.
through easier.
And like all that scar
Um,
tissue also though too.
exactly, exactly. So that's probably why they go with a larger diameter catheter then. Um, which I understand, but goddamn. Mm.
It was like, but shit. Like nobody told me. Like
Nobody.
I didn't get the memo that this what catheters do. He said you can go
Yeah.
just you can go just closing your eyes on a good warm day in the sun or anywhere after you have it.
Yep. Yep.
And to kind of take you to that open space. Like yeah, I've been getting the weirdest oneness feelings every day. I don't like it no more. I don't, cause it's too much. It's too much. Like
Yeah.
you can just see like that oneness in like everything, and it's
Yep.
like you want to play the game with everybody, but it's kind of hard. Cause you see the game and you going, dang man, maybe I should. You know they playing tag. I'm it, but I don't even want to go
Yeah.
find nobody.
But yeah, because I am everybody.
Yeah, cause I am everybody. I know where they hiding at. Like we all run to the same spots. Go, this is a good hiding spot over here.
Hmm.
But was you getting? Did you get any like playback memories of like you know how you do get the deja vu's like when you on the psychedelics?
Mm, I get them on psychedelics. Yeah. Yeah. I get them on psychedelics, but I didn't get many. I didn't get many with this experience. Um, the closest thing to deja vu I got on this, well, one is a legit memory. I do remember. I do remember being hospitalized as a kid, and I do remember kind of having that feeling of
Yeah,
go, oh shit, I've gone. It's been 30 years since I've been through this. But that's more memory more than deja vu. The closest thing to deja vu that I had in this, like I said, I do get deja vu moments in trips a lot of times, but in this specific surgical experience, the closest thing I had to deja vu was when I was in that desert sandstorm type deal,
yeah,
and when I was in the clouds in the lightning storm, just the feeling of peace like was a deja vu because I haven't reached that feeling of peace outside of a trip before. Like there's there's sometimes when you get to a trip that even though it might look chaotic or sound chaotic or seem scary, that for you, for whatever reason, in your little soul orb, whatever spirit you're in, it is so peaceful.
huh,
So like almost like a you died peaceful,
yeah.
where you're not worried about nothing, like nothing. You are so at peace. It is like the ultimate zen, I guess you could say, or what, um, like nothing could bother me when I reach those points. And that was that was a dope spot. I gotta thank my brain or the creator or whatever brought me to that spot. That was dope.
Yeah, that's wild. He said, I gotta thank whatever
But
brought me to that spot.
yep. Yep. But yeah, I had to share that one on because that was a surgical experience. It's not typical for something we talk about on this channel, but I thought it was worthy of a little live session.
Yeah, that was a that was that was more than worthy. He said, or the opening did not look did it look like, he said, or the opening, did it look like something had passed through it, leaving the gap? Whatever you feel.
No, it looked like the clouds
Being
opened
close
up.
to truth. Yeah, Tim.
What was the comment again?
He said, or the opening, did it look like something had passed through it, leaving the gap?
It looked like the clouds opened up that gap for me, and I was made to go through it.
Yeah, because he said, in the clouds, did you see any others moving around? Or the opening?
Um,
Yeah.
no, no, no. I just saw lightning around me. Um, it felt like that cloud, that specific opening in the clouds with what looked like part of the moon behind it at the end. It looked like it was designed specifically for me,
Oh, wow.
and I was made to go through it. And that's where I was going through slowly. I wasn't like going light speed through it. I was just slowly going through that passage
Dang.
to whatever that light was. Like I said, I call it the moon, but maybe it was the light, as people say,
The
at
light.
near death experiences.
Yeah.
Um, it could have been that. I cannot rule that out.
And he
I'd
said,
say it's very, the journey was very similar to that, like going to the light. But because I've been through that too on a trip, I've gone to the light, like a near death experience on a trip before. But this was like that, except this was like it had more real world attached to it with the clouds and the rain and the wind. Um, that's like it has this earth attached to it, and it was in slow motion. I was going to it in slow motion.
in the slow mo.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why.
super peaceful.
I bet. When you step outside of this, what this thing is doing, the body thing is doing and feeling, that should be hella peaceful. But he said, I know exactly what you mean by the one that's feeling true. I used to get those deja vu feelings. Yeah, it's like so much now. That shit is crazy. It's crazy. Then you be just telling yourself, trust the process. Trust the process. Like everything just look fake now. That's the crazy thing. Like even it's like everything looks fake now, right? And like
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make it into that, but that's I'm just seeing myself the fakeness of everything. It's like everybody is putting on this act, this big time act, like even with the with the stuff that happened with Trump. Like when I seen it, it looked so fake to me, even though it was live going on. Cause I'm going, wait, somebody up there bussing, and they done let off all them shots, and you telling me nobody really got hit, nobody in the background, like wasn't like in the movies or something. You feel me? Like
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
bartender get hit, and he didn't have nothing to do with anything. And it's like,
Hmm.
wait, hold on. It was like, but it's like how everything like that, everything just look fake now. It don't look real.
Yeah. Yeah, we can get caught up in that.
Yeah, like a movie.
Yeah, we can get caught up in that. Like I had my I said a while back, I had my nephew, my my 15-year-old nephew. He said like, "Well, what does this matter? It's just a simulation." I said, "Well, that's a play to me, that's a play on words." I said, "If it's a simulation, that means somebody had to make the simulation. So in that sense, couldn't you call it a creation?" So if
Yeah,
it's a creation, that's no different than all the foundings of, ancient text or whatever.
yes.
So if
Yeah, go ahead.
if if you build a house, if you build a house, is it a simulation?
That I think that's the part that people com, get confused. Like even me, like back in the day, it's like when people said simulation, I thought when they said simulation, it meant it was just fake. But a
Yeah, yeah,
simulation
yeah.
can be real.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, see that's my point. That's what I'm getting at is you can kind of blur the lines.
The same
You
thing.
can
Oh no, I was just reading you a comment because he said, yeah, same thing. Just words used can change, but always saying the same. Yeah, always saying the
Yep.
same thing. That's
Yep.
what throw me off, Rob. Now it's like even when I go and I watch, so-called spiritual stuff. Like, I was watching this one video and it was going around talking to different people from different places, like older generations of like the Mayans, the Native Americans, and it was talking about and he let each person explain their ancestors and their religious beliefs, and they all sounded the same. It,
Yeah.
it was like one was talking more about the air and this one was talking more about the life in the water, but it was like, okay, yeah, that's the same though, because the air is the water is the air. It's like everybody was saying the same thing about
Yep.
they understanding of God and what's going on. It was just like almost like a couple of little things that was kind of switched around the names or whatever, but it was the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of it, I believe that a lot of it's just a play on words, and that play on words throws us off because we have feelings and emotions tied to what we believe those words mean.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like it even takes it farther out. Like when I think about, you know, like the gods, the ones that we even call the gods, and and the wars that they say these gods, this god don't like that god, so they warring with that god. And it's like, but when you really look at the underlying thing of it, it be the people warring over these gods.
Mm-hmm.
It only be the people. Because the animals, the insects, none of them are fighting over these entities. Only the people are going, this is the one, that is the one. Well, this is one said that, and it's like, dude, who said that? He said that it was a man that said he said. You know what? See, God, what God? I'm gonna tell y'all what God told me today.
You know what it almost sounds like to me?
What?
It almost sounds like to me like somebody was really bored at some point.
For real. But like I think 2,000 years ago, right? If I came to your, like, say if you got your own people, you got your small little tribe, and your God is like the God that controls the trees, and you like, like, yeah, he controls the trees and he does this, and then I come along, my story be way better than that, because my God control the trees, he control he control the weather, he control everything, he control your God too at the same time. It's like everybody God got better and better. But hold on, I think my headphones keep turning off. My bad, Rob. I think that's me. My headphones keep disconnecting.
Oh, you good? I can still hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I know, but I couldn't hear you. I couldn't hear you. But
Oh,
yeah,
I
it's,
got you. I got you.
it's like each time somebody, a new nation came along, they took the gods of all the nations before them and made them stronger. And then that God, started to grow and do his thing. And then, the God of the smaller nations got kind of knocked off. We took we got to take their stuff in order to make ours stronger. Because that's it's like each God ate the other God in order to make himself stronger within us, and then it's just fucking weird now. And I don't want to.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at it from the perspective of like your trip where you saw Adam, the first
Oh,
man.
yeah,
Like if you're the only man or God or woman or entity, whatever, like, and
let's
you know
exactly.
everything and you got everything, wouldn't at some point you decide, you know what, I'm gonna start cranking some shit out.
Yeah,
You know what? You know what? Let's make a positive force and a negative force. Let's make a fight.
yeah. Him
Let's
that
make something
it,
to make
it's
strong
it,
to
it
make
was
us stronger, more powerful.
it was wild because it was like that atom right there. It like couldn't know no other human. It was only one human. Period. It wasn't no other human after that. Couldn't another one get made? It wasn't that easy just to make a human and for the human to exist. So he was the only one. So within the sim, he made this place. He made
Yeah.
this place because you feel me, like it was fucking crazy. That shit was crazy, Rob. That was a crazy experience because you could feel the pain and all the just the loneliness and everything, like just looking at him, like you can just feel all these things that's just coming into your mind, and then it's like he's creating this place, and then it's kind of crazy because within this place you get to leave, you get to pass on, and you didn't have to stay there the whole time because I like I was talking to my mom, right? And because being that my uncle passed away, her brother, and like she always go into like her Bible thing. And it's like, well, you know, the well we after we leave this body, we're not gonna have to worry about anything because we're gonna get a body that's better, and then it's not gonna be able to die. And I'm like going, so if we get if we actually do that and we get like these everlasting, can't be hurt, no pain bodies, like do that even sound like that's a plausible thing? And like if it
What if
was,
Yeah.
after that your worry is to find a way to die?
yeah, yeah, I had a trip like that. Well, I had an experience like that on mushrooms to where I was like, God, Dre, and I was trying to figure out different ways to die. It was just interesting to figure out all these different ways to die, a new way to die, because I can't die. I can't die. So me jumping in the body and believing that I'm gonna die was like the best story ever. The best story ever told to a person that cannot die is the story of death, and living that story a million billion trillion times because you know for a fact you can't.
Yeah. So, so the next best thing is simulating that you're going to die or making yourself believe that you're
Yeah,
going to
that you gonna die.
or experiencing it even for a moment.
Yeah, I could see myself waking up again going, see, that was a good one. Now that was a that was a good one. I could do better though. I could do better.
You know, you know what's the weird thing about like having a body that's like eternal and doesn't like perish or whatever? It wouldn't necessarily be like, oh, I'm getting bored of life or whatever. Because if you think about it, man, there's like an infinite amount of things that you can do. Like you can do a lot of stuff. You just don't know that you could do a lot of stuff because this is your reference point. Like everything you've
Yeah,
done so far is your reference point. And your reference point is literally being forced to walk and like being forced to pick up stuff. And you have a limit of how much weight you can pick up and everything. And you have to like eat and sleep and everything. But if you have a greater reference point, you can do a lot more things because you know you can do a lot more things. But the problem then arises in if you're compounding regrets and mistakes. Like, what if you've lived like, I don't know, 1,000 years and you've done every year like 10 things that you regret? Like, that's a crazy amount of mistakes and regrets. And eventually, like, it just either turns you into a super evil entity or it turns you into a very self hating entity.
yeah,
So like you would want to like reset your experience and forget everything just to forget all the mistakes and regret.
But if it was no pain and no suffering and no regrets or none of that stuff, like I'm saying is, do you think that would be even a possibility?
What exactly would you be doing if you did not inflict or experience pain and regret and mistakes? You wouldn't be doing anything because there's no such
Yeah.
scenario where you're doing something where the opposite doesn't exist. Like, what do you, like, literally, what are you doing? Like, think about it. What are you actually exactly doing? Existing eternally, but
Yeah.
you don't do anything. That doesn't make any sense. Like,
You're gonna be able to sit with the lions, chill with the goats. You're gonna be able to chill with the snakes and all the serpents. You remember how the Jehovah's Witness used to tell the
right, but
story?
what do they eat? You gonna watch them
Fruits. They
like
have fruits.
tear each other apart and eat each other
No,
and
they
shit, and
said
you're just gonna be
fruits.
chilling there?
They said even the animals gonna be eating nothing but fruits.
All right, but huh? Okay, so
Nah,
then they overpopulate the area, and you have like a million lions on one tiny island.
yeah, I was. I know, right? Huh. That's when they gonna open up the other planets.
If I recall, there's actually a story either in the South American legend or in the Indian legend that the first version of creation, because a lot of cultures around the world believe that we're either in the fourth or in the fifth age. Like they all agree, like we're on some kind of like cycle or repeat or whatever. There's probably
Mm-hmm.
a strong validity to that. But they say that in the first age, the very first one, it was similar to like the Matrix shit, where like everyone was living abundantly, everything was great and all that. No one was dying, but the gods were essentially like reproducing like crazy to a point where they had no more space to move around because there was so many people.
Yeah, but that's yeah, that would be wild. That's wild.
In a sense, if you think about it, like every last atom and molecule and everything is probably the gods, and they've reproduced so much that they really don't have much space to move. So they had to like zoom out and like shrink or whatever, and they become all the matter, and then like they become these bodies and these materials or whatever, and then like they can be utilized, but they still have like a certain amount of space that they have to occupy because occupying space is the ultimate like conclusion of an experience. Because if you're experiencing, then you're experiencing texture, depth, width, you're experiencing movement, like going forward, up, down. It's all taking up space. So everything has to take up some kind of quality of space. Even if it shares a space, it's still taking up a space.
But
Yeah, and
when you think about the space of the mind, it's like an infinite space to where
Right, but it
anything
still
can
needs
be.
an anchor point or a middle point. Like it still needs a core, or else you wouldn't be able to think about it. Like the thought has to sit somewhere for you to observe it and think it and know it. So it has to occupy a specific space for you to perceive it in the first place.
Yeah, it's like it's occupying that space in the mind. But that space right there is so infinite, anything can be created there. Like you don't, it ain't like here. Like even before it come out here, it be thought of there before we
Yeah,
put
but
it out
it's
and we make it into something.
the nuance of that is like it's really weird because yeah, you got thoughts, but you can shut down those thoughts. And like as I had said this in like the live you did the other day, if you start humming, you can't think. Like if you literally start humming like you cannot have a thought.
But do you think you want to shut it down?
A lot of people try to shut it down. Like that's a lot of people's goals. There's like a whole religion that their goal is to stop thinking,
But they thinking about not thinking.
right? But it's really weird because you can't not think because even if you're not thinking, the body itself is the thought.
Yeah, yeah.
he's, he's in there thinking about not
Yeah,
thinking.
they thinking you gotta practice not thinking, so you gotta think not to think. And it's like, okay,
Yo,
now you're
try
gonna spend your time trying to not think.
I was watching this video and this guy was like, if you start asking yourself in your mind, what is my next thought? Like you just say, what is my next thought? What is my next thought in your mind? And then you let that thought come in. Sometimes you won't even have a thought come
Oh wow. That was like I had mushroom experiences to where it was the hard, like bro, it was so hard to stop thinking. Like it wasn't like I got to a point to where I was able not to think and let the experience happen and not trip off of what's going on. But then like to not think because every time I thought of anything, if I thought of not thinking, that would lead to me having a conversation with somebody that wasn't even sitting there about thinking. And then that conversation with that person, once they come into play and I see that person, I'll be sitting there having that conversation with them, and then that person to say something that will lead to me seeing another person that is having a conversation with another person, that another aspect of me that I am. And it just went on and on and on and on to where I was just trying to sit there like that time and just like, I was off the mushrooms. I forgot how many grams I took, but I was just trying to sit there and just like, just stop it all. Like I didn't want to play no music. I didn't want to listen to nothing. I was trying to get as far into the quietness as I could, but it was like, man, my shit just kept going, and it's like, it makes sense because even when you try to stop it, you're gonna be thinking of trying to stop it, and it's like it was made to do. It's doing what it's supposed to do. It was made to think. It was made to do all these things. That's why it's there. And I think, I don't know, bro, we try to control it. And it's like you can, but at the same time you can't. Because even when you controlling it, you factoring in shit that was already here, ideas that was already here. Just, it was like almost like Nabi was saying, like, about the feeling. Like we going off of these different feelings. It feels good to stop the thinking. It feels good to stop this. It feels good for this. So we just going with all the feelings. If it feel good, then that's the right thing to do with it. And it's like, is it? Is it though?
Mhm. Yeah, I swear I got cousins that don't think.
I'm to that point to where I don't like I can't even hear the thoughts in my head no more. I
in. Yeah,
don't
but
even.
yo, at the same time, if you've never left like a neighborhood or a city and all your content is curated to only give you a certain amount of things, can you even be able to think outside of that?
Yeah, yeah, cause them the tools that you kind of got over the time. You got all your
In
tools
one
for.
sense, in one sense, you gotta discover new ways of thinking to be able to think more.
You think that's what the psychedelics do? They open that up. They make you leave.
Absolutely, man. Hey, like side note to what you just said, consider this. Absolutely everyone who has done psychedelics, and I said this before, either becomes a hardcore materialistic NPC that immediately assumes that it's some kind of like brain misfiring that's like giving you like some kind of brain damage or some stupid shit, or they immediately start to distrust the government and distrust everything and think that everything is like some kind of giant scam. So like
Everything.
it obviously makes you like change your thought concept of everything you're doing, and it
Yeah.
makes you question all your like likes, dislikes, your tendencies, your biases. Or it does the opposite and it like doubles you down on like just being highly what's the word, like uh, I'm not sure. Yeah, materialistic. Let's go with that. Like highly materialistic.
Yeah, that's wow. I know, and it's crazy because Dre, I think you kind of go through all those steps in a sense when you on psychedelics. Those are all the steps. Those are all the steps you see, and it's like not just the whole. It's like everything is putting on this act because everybody is acting to be a certain persona, a certain person, or a certain thing. So I don't know, bro. It's like weird. And I be seeing, I always see people go crazy after they get, so much information or they learn all these different things. They kind of lose their mind. They kind of lose it because you get so far and you see that it's not all the things that you really thought it was.
I haven't really like met anyone who lost their mind doing like shrooms, acid, DMT, but I have met people that have completely lost themselves and the whole point of what they're doing when they're doing stuff like, let's say, crack or meth or like some kind of something that was generally created for a weaponized purpose. Because all the things they're either created for some kind of something like hacking your nervous system, expanding your consciousness, or for being weaponized. So the intent behind it actually like ends up playing out. The crack was made to be weaponized. Meth was made to be used by soldiers to make them like not question anything and just be strung out and stay
But
up and just
you
be able to function.
so you not you so you telling me like you never seen like a person that started to going find their spiritual self and they started doing psychedelics and then they just changed the whole way they dress and the way they wearing all these beads and these different things, they dressing like somebody from a tribe or something. You never seen that?
I mean, I think it was supposed to dress like that. Like, what's the alternative to that? Like a pair of khaki pants and a
Nah,
t-shirt?
just
Like,
like the way you dress, whatever you like to dress, however you like to
right.
dress.
But think about it, man. What if that's like genetic memory? Because that's how we dressed for like, I don't know, a couple of thousand years, and all of a sudden we're dressing like coal miners. 'Cause pretty much everyone's dressed like coal miners if you think about it. Like the jeans and the t-shirt and all that. That's like labor clothing.
But this is, but that's the thing, right? I'm just saying, okay, like any other idea, that's still like one of those. Like it's going now, okay, I'm figuring out that I don't need all that. You feel me? This is better because this is
Yeah,
give me this. But the
like
person that's dressing in all that stuff, dressing in Gucci and they feel it's doing the same thing to them.
well, it's like the wardrobe that you put on, it fits the ceremony and the ritual that you're participating in. So like the person that's decked out in Chanel or Gucci, they're participating in the ritual of look at me and I can give you certain things. I am a
Exactly, bro.
certain thing. I am a certain position in society. Whereas the person that's participating in the ritual of wearing like a sari or like just I don't know like a dress or a robe or just going like full hippie like baggy pants and like shirtless all the time, they're participating in the ritual also of like look at me, I've transcended that. So it's like I would add to what you said that I think both of them are right and wrong at the same time. Because first of all, you need technology to get any of that. Clothing is technology.
Yeah.
And you can't be fully back to nature. You can't be fully immersed in like the true energy and essence of everything as long as you're still wearing clothing. And if you're wearing clothing, that means you're somewhere that clothing is a necessity. So that's somewhere that you shouldn't be actually biologically.
It's kind of it's kind of like like I was saying like the oneness thing, like if everything is all this one thing, then it really doesn't matter how you do it. It's just you seeing the different levels of what people go into. It's exactly what you said though. Like if you see somebody that's a Mormon, they dress a certain way. When they out doing their talks and doing their things, you can tell they got on the memorabilia to where when you see them, two of them on the bike or whatever, you can tell those are Mormons.
I've never seen a Mormon dressed. Are they just like Jehovah Witnesses with like just plain
Yeah,
pants and
just
like dress shirt?
dress shirt, button up, black and white. You feel me? Black khakis.
That's like the Amish stuff. Like the Amish, they all dress a certain way. Like a weird 1800 formal look. Um, and I don't really agree with a lot of Sadhguru stuff, but I did agree with one thing that he said, whereas like, what are y'all doing wearing in 110 degrees like business suits out of Europe? Like that doesn't make any sense. We're in India. Why are you wearing a European business suit in India in 110 degrees?
Yeah.
Like it's just weird stuff like that.
Yeah, nah, it is crazy because when you go back to like the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s, that's how they dressed. They wore suits. That's the kind of attire they was playing basketball in penny loafers. You feel me? That's just the way they dressed. Everybody had on some type of suit. Didn't matter what age you was. So
In the
suits,
States.
yeah, in the states, a lot of other places too. A lot of other
That's a
places.
weird thing because like you got the word fashion. It's technically the word fascism. It's everyone acting in accordance to the rulership or to the climate that discerns everyone's behavior. And everywhere around the world, it doesn't matter where you at. If you are in a government function or an official function, you are wearing a
The
business
uniform.
suit.
Yeah, UL said it too. The culture gives the uniform. Exactly. And that's why you can go to different countries. You can see the way they dress. Everybody just do this different thing. And you can tell what their culture is behind how they dress, what they believe is. It's like, and today, now, looking at it now, like back then, it was like nothing. Like, still, it's nothing, but it's still, when you look at it, you just see it and you just go, oh, okay. All right.
Have you ever seen pictures of the Taliban in Afghanistan
Yeah.
or like video? Dude, it doesn't matter what official function they're in, they're still adorning their traditional stuff. They got the baggy stuff on. They pretty much look like a Dragon Ball character. Like they look like the
Exactly.
Kais out of Dragon Ball or whatever, with
Yeah.
the turbans and the baggy pants and everything. And if you look at them in their like public functions or whatever, there's something that feels off. And the reason why it feels off is because we're so programmed to see them in business suits, which is really weird. Because like you go back 2,000 years ago, man, they all had on like togas when they were in public functions. All of them had on
Yeah.
togas. One of the reasons was because it was so hot, so they had to be comfortable. And another reason was so that they couldn't hide weapons, so they couldn't assassinate each other so easily.
Yeah, I see a lot of Indians out here, and they dress like they did in India. Like, they don't be in the suits and nothing like that. I think the psychedelics give us like a template or expand our imagination. Controlling the visuals is crazy. Yeah, yeah, it expands your imagination. It makes it bigger. It make you realize it's your imagination too. Because any form, you gonna form it to whatever you feel desired to you. And it's wild because what if we all just thought that way? Like, if we all just felt like, okay, yeah, we should just dress this one way.
Oh, that reminds me of a Twitter post I seen where this guy was like, "Oh, this thing looks unappealing to me and it doesn't look pretty. It's demonic. Like if it's not pretty, it's automatically demonic."
Yeah,
And it's
they
like weird
demonize everything.
because like a lot of very attractive and pretty things in nature are poisonous and will kill you. And they look attractive on purpose to attract you. Like that's the whole point of something being attractive, to attract you. Why does something want to attract you? Well, in a sense, it's to commit either a like a death on you or a small death on you to reproduce.
And I think a lot of the things we create, they like create these different entities, and these entities live in our minds. Like they live in everybody's mind in one way or another, and that's like that, in that infinite amount of space right there. That's where they reside.
Yo, could you imagine like some kind of like astral realm where you have all the deities and like all the spirits that humanity has created? And then like you got the newcomers, like you got SpongeBob, you got Goku from Dragon Ball, you got all that shit. It's like, how long until they actually become religions?
Not that long, but UL said
Because I think about
psychedelics
it, man,
taking
Dragon
you
Ball
back
is
to you.
almost a religion.
It is. It is. Man, I got Dragon Ball Z memorabilia everywhere.
See, you got icons. You're
Yeah.
blaspheming. You're blaspheming against the big three by having icons of
Man.
another deity. And you're like there's people who will literally shift their entire lives and behave based on these like non-existent egregores. Like, do you know how many people Dragon Ball has put in the gym and has turned like their life around to being like more fit and like athletic? It's crazy. Like technically, in a sense, Goku would be like the god of athleticism.
Yeah, yeah. It can help you and it can hurt you at the same time, like anything. Like spirituality
Hell
can't
yeah,
hurt
it
you
can hurt.
or help you.
I see. I seen the dark side of people liking Dragon Ball so much, where they make it their identity so much, like that they actually believe they can do that stuff, and maybe you can do that stuff eventually with enough genetic engineering on your body. But dude, you're not flying. You're not shooting a damn ki blast out of your hand. Like it just makes people think you're weird, and then like it alienates you from like
It's
I don't
somebody
know potential
that's
things
crazy.
that you could benefit by not acting like
Dre, it's something. See why you saying that? There's somebody out there right now that dress up as a Dragon Ball Z character every day. Every day, they dress as a
Dude, I
Dragon
follow a
Ball Z
dude like that
character.
that does that on IG. Like he dresses like Goku. His identity is Goku. He believes he is Goku and Jesus at the same time. And I don't want to say some negative stuff about him because he technically puts out positive stuff. But at the
Yeah,
same time, it's like,
listen.
dude, what the hell, bro? Like you're cosplaying every day. Like when are you gonna be you instead of being a character that was made up by some Japanese dude to like earn a living?
It's this man. Look, we take on the characteristics of whatever is gonna help our survival. Like that's just what we do. That's what we do. We take on that characteristics and we walk around as that. Especially if it's
That's
helping
true.
us. You feel me?
Do you know how many Do you know how many bodybuilders have a picture of Arnold on their wall in their room or somewhere, man? Like Arnold in his 20s or whatever. Like he's pretty much a living deity or icon. Like when Arnold passes, he'll probably become like the Jesus of bodybuilders.
Man, did you see? I mean, look at the Conan Arnold Schwarzenegger though. Golly, bro, he was next level. Next level. We talking about bigger than what's his name? The Rock. Arnold Schwarzenegger was bigger than The Rock.
You mean physically or like socially?
Physically. Physically, he
Oh.
was cut. Like you ain't never seen Conan the Barbarian?
No, no, I seen his own stuff, man. Like I look at a lot of bodybuilding content. Uh and like a lot of them like they'll post like Arnold stuff. They'll like try to uh model off of him. Some content is gonna be like, bro, you'll never look like him. It's not the
Man.
same. Like the food was different back then. The culture was different. The economy was
It
different. Like
was
you could sit in a gym for 8 hours back then. You
it
can't do
was
that anymore.
because it was Arnold Schwarzenegger and Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah, and bro, there's actually bigger dudes than Arnold, man. Like Ronnie
Same
Coleman,
thing,
bro, he was
tall,
way bigger than
tanners,
Arnold.
yeah. But Arnold was cut. Like somebody took a
Yeah,
razor to him. He was cut up.
yeah, it's because one of the things in
He
bodybuilding
has great
is
shape and tall
if you
tanners.
actually
Yeah.
manage to make it, one of the reasons why you make it is because your body accepts the steroids without side effects. Like that's the only thing. Sure, you got the genetics. Sure, you got like the insertions of the muscles. Like where do the muscles insert? Like are your lats a little bit too high? Are your lats a little bit too low? All that. Yeah, it plays a part in it. But a lot of dudes actually have the genetics on point. But the moment they get on the gear, their body starts to act completely crazy. They have insane back knee. Like their cheeks start to fall down. their eyes start to sink in, like everything just goes bad, and they can't go into a bodybuilding career with that because they don't accept the steroids. So if you have the good genetics and you accept the steroids, that's all you need to get into bodybuilding. Because after that, like there's a bunch of videos that'll tell you you barely need to do any work in the gym to get results if you're on steroids. You barely need to do any work.
You be buff, but you won't be real strong.
And look at Arnold now, man. Like he was crazy back then, but now he literally just looks like a dude who does calisthenics. Like
That's
it
but
all
that's
falls off.
yeah, that be the wild thing. That's why I be tripping off of some people that work out want to get real huge. It's like when you get old, it ain't gonna look like that.
Yeah, you literally cannot physically even think of a way to keep it on you because the cells themselves say, no, we're not keeping this because it's not efficient for the body right now because the bone structure has lost a lot of its ability to hold this much matter in the first place. And the cells have duplicated so much after a
Yeah,
certain
the word.
age, you start to get senescence of the cells, which means that there's no more telomerase, which means that it can't hold the cell integrity well enough and it loses its potency in being able to hold hydration, and the mitochondria stops being able to function at a certain rate. Like that's all damage from like compounding foods every day and compounding like different shifts in radiation without proper hydration. Because like
I
look
was
at
seeing
certain animals, bro.
you see did you see that one documentary on that it was some guy, he was like a bodybuilder and he came out with that some kind of steroid that they couldn't read when you test, and he had like a lot of like different athletes on it, and like later on
I
they all
didn't.
got in trouble and shit, but like I'm talking about track
No, I didn't. I
stars and
didn't
like
see
they
that.
took their gold medals and everything because of dude.
I I think maybe it's Anavar or Trembolone because those are used to like give people who have had accidents and they like sat in a bed too long and then like their muscles started to decompose. Like they'll give them those things to like let their muscles like come back alive and like start rebuilding without doing too much physical effort because they can't be doing too much work in the gym after they just got out of bed. Uh,
Yeah,
but one thing that now they're doing that a lot of athletes are doing, which is legal and it's kind of very difficult to test for because, like, what are you even testing for? Is they're doing stem cells. Like
yeah.
the world
It's crazy
champion
now they
arm wrestler,
uh-huh.
the world champion arm wrestler, Devin Larratt, is this Canadian dude. This dude can literally beat people who's twice his size in arm wrestling. Yes, he trains, but he got to a point where he plateaued and now he's injecting like stem cells in his arm so that the stem cells become like denser and better muscles.
Yeah. Dang. That's wild because I remember like like later on like when they started giving people steroids even when they go to the like hospital for certain things, like if they had certain problems, like dang, what was it? It was my kids was something was going on, and they was like, well, we got to give them this steroid shot, and it's like,
But
what
you know
the
they did that
hell?
shit to Trump's kid, Barron Trump. The kid used to be like 4 or 5, and now he's like 6'3" or whatever. Like they put him on during the puberty period of a male. There's a tiny little window gap that if you supercharge the whole process, you can have him like grow way taller than he would have naturally grown.
I don't
And
know how
apparently
tall
they
is
did that
Trump
shit.
though.
I
Ain't
think
Trump
he's
like
like
6'3", 6'4"?
6'2". Yeah, he's like 6'2" or something like that. But
Trump
Baron,
is
man, he
tall.
used to be like 4 or 5, and then within a year, he like pumped up to like 6'2", 6'3", or something like that. I think he's even taller. I don't really
Yeah,
get up.
I'm not gonna hold you though. Like if you got kids, you'll see that happen. And you'll be like, dang, when did you just get this tall?
Yo, you got families of athletes. They will do certain things to their kids while they're in their like growth spurt phase to maximize their potential to actually come out better athletes themselves. Because the parents are already athletes, they got access to knowing certain things about physiognomy that they can like boost up their kids. Like there's a certain age where your kid shouldn't start
Overtime
doing
truck.
bodybuilding. But there's certain signs that show in your kid that if you have them start bodybuilding, like say if you have an indicator sign at like 13 or 14, if you put that kid on bodybuilding, dude, by the time he's like 19, 20, he's guaranteed to have a build that could put him in a commercial situation in athleticism. Like either he'd be a really good like I don't know football player or soccer player or hockey player or whatever sport you want to like have them focus on that they're really good at.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. He said Trump a time traveler. No, Trump is a gangster. Trump just survived a drive-by. What are you talking about? Trump just survived a drive-by. He a
Bro,
gangster.
he wasn't realist.
He gonna be in Drake video next. He gonna be yeah. or, or what's his
Dude,
name?
he was
Kodak
an
Black
actor
video.
and he was in real estate. Like he's absolutely 100% somehow tied to like crime. Like you cannot
Hey,
be in
you
real estate in New York and not be tied to crime.
man, I don't know what he tied to, but golly, Trump is something else. He's something else. I think I think he gonna be president again. I hate to say.
He will, bro. He 100% will. Like this whole thing was like an on purpose psyop. Like the whole time they're pretending, oh, Biden stole my election. Nah, they did this shit on purpose because there's people who analyze everything that happened economically and all the moves that they made. Like they even predict, okay, two
Greatest
months from
stage
now, this is
show.
gonna happen with the indictment. 3 months from now, this is what's gonna happen with the trial. And they've been like right on everything that they predict about what's happening with Trump and Biden and all that stuff. And this is all being done on purpose strategically to like give them another 4 years. But everyone is going to be super happy with this 4 years because they had a dude mess up everything the last 4 years on purpose. And only towards the end did they actually start to publicize just how messed up the guy
It's,
was. Whereas in the beginning, everyone was literally like, nah, he's doing a good job. Nah, he's on point. Nah, we got this, even though he was senile the whole time.
yeah, he said 50 Cent trending after Trump got hit. Like 50 Cent. I'm gonna have to go check that out. Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know what they gonna say, but I gotta head out though, Dre. It's 3 o'clock in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
morning. I didn't even know it.
About a year ago, like a couple of people had predicted that there would be a fake assassination attempt on Trump to like put his image in a certain way, and it would be part of like this ritual that has to do with his zodiac disposition. Because there's people who read people's zodiac things, and they're really good at it to where they're gonna be like, around this age, something's gonna happen to him that's gonna do this and that, and
Hey,
it actually it just happened.
especially when the motherfucker do some shit, then they knock him off and they go, well, the shooter he was killed. He was the only one killed. It's like, oh shit, okay, yeah. I want to see that footage.
Hey, good talk, man. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too, man. You too. All right, Rob. Thanks for dropping us that good story, Rob. That was a good one. But all right, I gotta go. And yeah, all right, everybody. I hope y'all have a good one, man. Yeah, this is a good live right here, as usual. It always is. But I'll be back later on today sometimes because I ain't gotta, you know, every time it's a death in the family, they give me a little time off. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace out, y'all.